Vote Labour stand part of the schedule. Dorian Fenton.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. Well, the estimates debate on Vote Labour provides a really good opportunity to do a performance review on the work in the Labour portfolio and the work of the Minister of Labour, who's now 6 months into the job. Now, he may be new and he's certainly learned his lines extremely well, but there's something deeply antiquated about the Minister's approach to Labour relations and the Labour portfolio. In 6 months, he's delivered a 25 cents an hour increase in the minimum wage, a miserable 25 cents an hour. He's also cut young workers' pay and brought back youth rates for the first time since last century. He's revived this stupid piece of legislation that's languished on the order paper for 3 years because it was so hopeless, and is so mean that it will cut basic rights to meal and rest breaks. And now he's sent to his select committee the nastiest piece of proposed Labour law that we've seen since Jim Bolger was the Prime Minister. Mr Chair, this is going to be a very testing time for employment relations in New Zealand, and it's going to be a testing time for the Minister as opposition to his employment law ramps up, and as everyday Kiwi workers begin to understand exactly what the agenda of this national government is about. It's hard enough to get a job, let alone one that pays the bills. But employment law changes that are being proposed by Simon Bridges and this national government will have a knock-on effect to every wage and salary earner in New Zealand, and it will entrench Kiwis in a low-wage economy. By taking away workers' rights to fair wage bargaining and standard setting, Kiwi workers across the board are going to see their wages fall. Now, what did we see this week? We saw an Australian company that's bringing a call centre to New Zealand. And you know why they're coming here, Mr Chair? Because wages are 30% cheaper. Kiwi workers are 30% cheaper. They are bringing jobs here. And at what price? So does Toe Henry think that Kiwi workers aren't worth as much as Australian workers? We have the maddest situation at the moment where New Zealanders are going to Australia to get better pay, and Australian employers are coming to New Zealand to get lower pay. Crazy situation. So every change that this government's proposing, from allowing employers to walk away from negotiations, to stopping people why they can't get sacked, why they've been sacked, to taking a right to a tea break, is taking us backwards to those ideas that we saw last century that were tried and miserably failed. Now, we shouldn't be feeling proud, and Toe Henry shouldn't be feeling proud, that we are attracting Australian business on the basis of being a cheap economy, on the basis of being a low-wage destination. That is shameful. That is shameful. And it's interesting to me that we never, ever hear any mention now of closing the wage gap with Australia. That goal has gone. That's disappeared. They've given up on it. Instead, it's actually increasing the wage gap with Australia. That's the way Stephen Joyce thinks we create job opportunities. But back to the Minister's performance. Now, I'm very generous, so I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for health and safety. He's got a bill in front of the Select Committee now, and there's going to be another one coming. But his department has badly botched the change process from moving to the old Department of Labour to the new agency. It's a change process called Lifting Our Game, and the health and safety inspectors are so disillusioned with it, they call it shifting the blame, and in the process they have lost numerous experienced health and safety experts. We can't afford to do that with our health and safety record. The Minister too, I have to say kindly, has exhibited some stubbornness and a tendency to think he has all the answers, and especially in forestry, where the death toll this year is now at 6. It is now at 6, where the families who have lost loved ones are desperate, who are calling on the Minister, who are calling on the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee for an independent inquiry, and where in fact even the forestry owners are now asking for help. But of course, this minister says he has all the answers. I give him a 4 out of 10 for responding to concerns. Mr Chair.
I call the... sorry?
Yes, I've got one.
The member has run out of calls.
Mr Chair, point of... No, we haven't.
We haven't?
No, I think we've got one more call, Mr Chair.
Okay. I've got a record here, 26 calls.
I thought we had 27. We get 27.
We get 27.
We get 27, Mr
We
Chair.
need to get this sorted, because if the member has another call, I'm happy to give her the call.
Thank you. We get 27, that's what we were told.
Sounds like 29.
Well, I need to find out what is the right... Can you just double check, please?
Just add a percent on the end of it. That's what Labour have been doing.
Well, the information that the office has is 26. Point of order, the Honourable Member, Chris Finn.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the allocation that we were given by the Government Whip's office shows that this being an 8-hour debate. I can run through the numbers for you if you wish to be assured. The Labour Party gets 28.09% of the calls, which in raw minutes is 134.83 raw minutes, rounded number of minutes, 134 raw minutes. Therefore, that equates to 27 calls.
Well, all members are honourable, and the member's word will be accepted. I call the Honourable Member Darian Fenton.
Thank you very much. As I was saying, well, I was about to give the Minister 4 out of 10 for his response to concerns about the exploitation of migrant workers. And yes, he's making the right noises, along with the Minister of Immigration, Michael Woodhouse, but he's still failed to explain how he's going to deal with the increasing exploitation of migrant workers, where they're being employed on sub-minimum wages, with just 35 labour inspectors throughout the whole country. Now, the Minister told us during the estimates process that the way he will do that is free up inspector time by not enforcing Easter shop trading. That would free up just 3 inspectors, when inspectors are actually spending 54% of their time on migrant worker exploitation. So that's not going to cut it. And also, I do have to ask the House why we pass laws. This Easter shop trading has been subjected to conscience votes, I think 7 times since I've been in Parliament, where members have used their conscience to pass a law to say there should not be shop trading on Easter Sunday. And this is a law that I've supported because I don't want to see workers forced to work on Easter Sunday. And so why have a law if the Minister can then just decide that he's got the right to ignore it? But I do have to get to the bottom end when I'm talking about scoring the Minister. It's a 2 out of 10 for the employment law changes. I know he's doing the bidding of his political masters. I know he's the puppet or the king of the rebirth of the right-wing branch of the National Party, but he does have to watch it, Mr Chair. This Minister is getting a reputation for being a little bit economical with the truth. First of all, there was the thing about the ILO, where he said he was going off to the ILO to ask them about his law. When he got there, he bottled it and refused to meet with the Secretary-General of the ILO. Yes. And then there was a story about the forestry workers, where he claimed that the forestry workers were completely on side with his revised code of practice, when in fact Helen Kelly was there and found and was able to say it wasn't true. But bottom line, Mr Chair, the Minister has been warned and warned again about the severity of his changes to employment law, and he has been warned by his officials, by the ILO, by numerous organisations, that it will result in workers' wages being cut, that collective bargaining will be undermined and diminish as a result. Litigation will increase over the petty changes to partial strikes and notice periods, and vulnerable workers, such as the cleaners who work in this Parliament and Cleaners Office, will be exposed once again to being the meat in the sandwich between voracious tendering processes, where the cost of labour is the only competition. He's been warned, Mr Chair, that these changes will expose New Zealand in Cabinet papers by his officials, by the ALO, that these changes will expose New Zealand to international embarrassment through a complaint of breaches to International Labour Conventions 87 and 98. This is a government that's trying to get secure a place on the Security Council. We're supporting that, but they have to do it on the grounds of being a good international citizen. You can't stand up in international forum and say you support something and then break the laws at home. Interestingly, the free trade agreement signed with Taiwan just a couple of weeks ago has, right in the body of the document, it talks about complying with Labour Conventions 87 and 98 as a core part of our commitment to that free trade agreement. But here we are planning to breach those very conventions in our own country. So, Mr Speaker, Mr Chair, I think the financial year 2013-14 will be very interesting. It will be an interesting year for Vote Labour and for the Minister. It will become pretty rocky. And can I assure you, Mr Speaker, that we in Labour will be taking the message out to workers and their families up and down the country that Labour is standing up for them, and we will do everything we can to defeat these backward-looking changes that the Minister and this government are proposing. They are backward-looking changes because they will do nothing to grow our economy. They will do nothing to create jobs. They will take us back to a low wage, or they will increase the low wages in this country. They are tried and failed policies. This government is hopeless.
I call the Honourable Member Mike Sabin.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That will do nothing to grow the economy. Well, have I got some good news